This is my first hearing as a member of this committee, and as a senator from Hawaii, I'm very glad to be here to take part in this important discussion. Throughout human history, our natural environment has provided a stable, predictable foundation for civilization. However, there is clear evidence that that foundation is changing. Today's hearing will explore the scientific evidence that changes to Earth's climate are contributing to extreme weather events of increasing severity and frequency. These extreme events, as well as changes occurring in our world's oceans, are a major concern to the long-term economic and national security interests of the U.S. In Hawaii, we are already seeing the impact of climate change, both on land and in the ocean that surrounds us. There are many impacts on Hawaii that I could mention, but given the short time, I will focus on three: impacts on our economy, our communities, and national security. The Pacific Ocean is the world's largest physical feature. Situated in the center of the Pacific, Hawaii is the world's most isolated archipelago. While our people and communities have always had a special relationship with the ocean, we are also acutely aware that we are at its mercy. Rising ocean temperatures, sea level rise, and ocean acidification pose serious risks to our economy and communities. For example, the sea level has risen in Hawaii at the rate of 0.6 inches per decade over the past century. Research indicates that sea level may increase by 3 feet by the end of the century. This means that areas like Waikiki, I'm sure many of you have been there, a critical driver of Hawaii's tourism economy, are likely to face serious flooding if sea level rise intensifies. In addition, we are seeing more extreme weather as a result of changes to our weather patterns. This is straining our infrastructure and harming our communities. For example, while overall rainfall in Hawaii, which is critical to replenishing the groundwater we rely on, has decreased by 15% in the past 20 years, but yet we have seen a 12% increase in very heavy downpours. In fact, in the spring of 2012, severe flooding occurred that required the governor to issue a disaster declaration for Oahu and Kauai. President Obama also signed a federal disaster declaration for the island of Kauai, which was hard hit by flooding that caused more than $3 million in damage just to public facilities and roads. These situations demonstrate the impact climate change is already having on Hawaii's economy and communities. As a result of scientific evidence and real-life experiences with climate change, the state of Hawaii has taken an aggressive approach toward addressing climate change. We have passed state laws limiting greenhouse gas emissions, promoting clean energy and energy efficiency, and a law to address climate change adaptation. These efforts are forward-looking, but support on the federal level is needed. Hawaii is also home to the U.S. Pacific Command, PACOM, which is responsible for the entire Asia-Pacific region. That is over half the planet. PACOM's leadership has continually warned of the impact of increasingly severe weather patterns on stability in the region. On average, PACOM is involved in responding to a natural disaster within the region once every 8 weeks. These are just some of the economic and security concerns that climate change are posing in Hawaii right now, and the situation will only intensify in the future if we do nothing. Some will argue that we shouldn't lead on this issue as a nation because it won't make enough of a difference unless developing nations join us. The fact is, we're risking falling behind right now. China is taking this issue seriously. It has set up pilot carbon markets and is taking action to invest in renewable energy. And in fact, there is a U.S.-China climate change working group to promote high-level negotiations and discussion between our two countries on key climate change issues. Climate change is a great challenge of our time. We can stand and meet the challenge, which will change the foundation of our economy and society for the better. I hope that today's hearing will serve to make the case for strong, cooperative, bipartisan action. I look forward to working with all of my colleagues on these vital issues. Thank you, Madam Chair.